So hi everyone, first I would like to say that it is my pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you my experience and to speak with you. So I will start by introducing myself. So I am Mama Sow, Mama being my first name and Sow my last name. I am a French international management postgraduate. I graduated from the University of Paris Panthéon-Assas, so located in France, Paris. I've also studied in Caen, in Normandy, and did 1 year abroad at Xiamen University in China, in the Fujian province. And well, my background is pretty diverse. So I started with a foreign language degree, English, Spanish, and Chinese. Then I went on doing a master's degree in international management and business. As for my work experience, I've done several internships both in France and abroad. First, I started in France, then I did one in the UK, then I did one in the US, and one in France, so 1 year of apprenticeship, and finally one in China. I just came back about 10 days ago. I've also done several other things besides working abroad. I've also studied abroad. I also did some volunteering in Taiwan. So what drives me and what is my passion? Well, I have several passions, but what drives me is really discovery, learning. I'm a lifelong learner, and just discovering new things and learning about new cultures, learning new languages, meeting new people, and sharing my experience, what I observed in terms of management through my blog, which is mamasow.fr if you have time to visit it, and just to share and learn and share and discover. So let's get on with the questions. So the first question is, how do you adapt as you immerse yourself from one culture to a totally different culture, like for example from France to China to Germany, etc. So I have several tips. For me, what helps me to really immerse myself is because I've already immersed myself in the culture I'm gonna be in. For example, for China, I am used to watching several Taiwanese or Chinese series, so I'm used to listening to the Chinese language. Also, the fact that Chinese was one of my classes. I mean, at school, I had to learn about Chinese culture, Chinese language. I also have a lot of Chinese friends, which helps a lot. So I already knew kind of what is going to happen in China. I mean, it was not. It was a surprise. You're always surprised with China, and whenever you travel, you cannot expect to know everything about the culture and the country. But still, it really helps to be in the culture before you go there. Actually, go there. Another way to immerse yourself easily when you arrive and to adapt yourself quickly is to have some friends over there if you can, or if you don't have friends over there, you can just find some pen pals. So the address is interpost.net. It's a really great website to find some foreign friends all around the world. I have a lot of friends from a lot of parts of the globe, and I got the opportunity to meet them, and it's really great to have a connection with locals. It's always very important. Also, food. For example, if you're going to go to Japan, you have to try the food, Japanese style of eating. How do they eat? And also do your research. This is the most important part, so you're not shocked kind of when you arrive, and you kind of know what kind of situation can happen when you go there. And the language, it really helps when you know the language. So next question. when you are in a country where you do not speak the language, do you find that it is best to use English as the common language? Yes, of course. However, I still think that knowing the local language is, of course, a lot better. Because, for example, for China, if you go to Shanghai, you go to Beijing, if you go like to big cities, you will find people who can speak English. However, for example, the taxi driver may not know how to speak English, and even when you go to take a train ticket, maybe they cannot speak English as well. So it's always very important to have some basic knowledge. However, if you it happens like for me, for example, I'm going to Germany. I cannot speak German, not yet. I'm going to learn, but for Italy or Portugal, for example, I could not speak the language, so usually I would use English. In Italy, however, I could use Spanish, and some people could understand what I was saying. So, uh, but my go-to language, of course, is English. Actually, you're really lucky to be native English speakers. It really helps not only for you to communicate when you go abroad, but also if you want to find some job opportunities abroad. For example, in China, I know even in Korea, they're really looking for English native teachers. So if you want to take a gap year and go abroad, it is a great alternative. Next question. At this point, what are your two main priorities for your life? My first one would be health, because without a good health, you cannot do anything. Our body, our mind is the most important tools we have. And secondly would be my career. For now, for family is always important for me, so that's why I don't include it for this question. Of course, family is first, but then it would be health and career for me. Do you prefer to work short term or long term in a company? Well, my manager, my supervisor from Renault, when I was an apprentice in Renault in France, he told me you should not stay more than 3 or 4 years in the same position. So what it means for me is more like it depends on the company. If it's a global company, I can stay long in the company if it gives me the opportunity to change location, change positions, manage different projects, these kind of things. Short term would be if it's a smaller company and you have your position and don't have that many people in the office, so the only way is to change job. In that case, it would be short term. Next question about my name. In Senegal, your name Mama means Saturday burn. Were you born on Saturday? Well, thank you for this question. I didn't know that my name meant Saturday born. I didn't know. Actually, I'm named after one of my great aunt. So for me, there were no real meaning. There was no real meaning. But it's good to know. Thank you for this question. Next question. On your blog, you said you are an INTJ. Please explain. INTJ, sorry. Please explain. So it is from the MBTI personality test. If you didn't have the chance to take this test, I really encourage you to do so, because it really helps to know more about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses. It's perfect test to know more about you. Of course, all of it is not 100% accurate. However, I really like this test because it was kind of 80% right. And I will send a link to Dr. Sue, so you can go and maybe test yourself. It's free. You have it available for free on the website 16personalities.com, I believe. But I will send it to Dr. Sue. It's a really great website, and you can take this test for free. You have it takes maybe 20 minutes, and you can even have some career advice and about your personality. It's just a great tool. So for me, I introduced like introversion, intuition, thinking, and judging. So for me, it's kind of the strategic scientist profile, which means that we really like being pragmatic, realistic. We like knowledge and expertise, and discovery and ideas in general. Next question, which countries do you look forward to living and working in during the next 5 years? So for now, I'm going to Germany at the end of the week to learn German. So I'm hoping to find a job in Germany or Switzerland first, and then in 3 or 4 years to go to Canada. So be closer to you, actually. And maybe I could even come to visit you, I hope. But yes, so it would be more Switzerland, Germany, and then Canada. Then, how different is the Chinese culture from the other culture that you have experienced? Very different. I think that every culture has its own differences. Chinese culture is very similar to Korean culture, Japanese culture, kind of, because actually, the Japanese culture and the Korean culture are kind of based on the Chinese culture. I visited all of these 3 countries, and there are a lot of similarities, of course. But the first thing would be the fact that community is really important for them. So everything is a network and group. And speaking about network, it's something you have to know if you have to do business with Chinese people. It is the notion of guanxi. So guanxi, what is guanxi? It means network, but it's not the network we know like LinkedIn. No, it's way more powerful in China. It's more, you have an extended network. For example, you have your circle of friends, then family, friends, then maybe work. Personal is based on a long-term relationship. For example, if I help you today, you have to surely help me, but it doesn't have to be now. It can be in 10 years. So it's a reciprocal relationship, but based on long-term relationship. It's not like a kind of simple networking definition of things. It's way more powerful, and actually you can give presents, which is not seen as bad in the West. For them, it's okay. Alcohol is also part of the for example, for business meetings. So you have to know that going for a drink in a karaoke, it's okay for them in China. The same for Korea. I'm not sure about Japan, but I'm sure for Korea in China. So this is one of the main differences. And another notion you have to know about the Chinese culture is the notion of mianzi. So mianzi means face. You have lian also, but it's different. Lian is just the face, But mianzi is really a deep notion of face. So what you should never do is make a Chinese person lose face. Never. For example, they won't say no. So how do you know if they say no or not no? So you have to ask further questions to get deeper, to be sure that it is a real yes, because they won't say no. They don't want you to lose face. It's part of their culture. It's really important to understand that. So, for example, if one of your employees or one of your team members did a mistake, you should never yell at them, and you should take them apart and talk with them, but not in front of everyone, or else he will lose face. So it's really important to understand that. Even if you have Chinese friends, they prefer just to not respond, or say sure like this, like yes, but actually it's not a yes. So you have to know that. And yeah, for me, there are the two key differences, really. Next question. As a fluent speaker of French, is it spoken the same or differently in France and Senegal? Has this impacted your life in any way? I didn't really have this issue because I was born in France. But in Senegal, we do have two different languages, two main languages. We have Peul, which is more spoken in the countryside, and then we have Wolof, which is like the city language, kind of in Dakar and neighboring cities, in bigger cities. For me, I speak Peul. I speak some Peul, mixed with some French. I won't lie, but yeah, I can understand Peul. And well, I just speak French when I go to Dakar. However, with my family back in the countryside, I have to speak Peul. So, but in Dakar, they learn the same French like in France. I mean, schools are all in French, so no worries for the language. Last question: how easy or difficult was it to learn, speak, and write in Mandarin and Korean given its complexity? Well, for me, every language is difficult. It all depends on your native language and the language you already know and your interest and passion. So, for me, learning Chinese is difficult because, well, I'm a French native speaker, because of the tones, because you have four different tones: ma, 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 ma. And depending on the tone, it actually changes the meaning of the word. So it's really important when you're not used to it to really be cautious about it. As for the writing, it is okay because I find it so interesting. It's like drawings, and where you have to be pretty consistent with Chinese characters, so you don't forget. And if you do a mistake for one stroke, it actually changes the meaning, or maybe it doesn't even mean anything. So yeah, it's really interesting language. As for the Korean, it's different because they use Hangul, which is kind of a alphabet, and they have for example, this one is like an N, and this one is like a, you know, so it's like an alphabet. So I can read it, and so, but some words I may know how to read them, but I may not know the meaning. But Chinese characters, if you don't know how to, I mean, usually if you know how to write them, you know the meaning. I mean, usually it's well, it depends, but it's really two different writing systems. So thank you for your attention. I hope that I accurately replied to your questions, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you live. And I just would like to say that you should go out of your comfort zone, challenge the status quo, be open-minded, and go out and travel if you can, to learn more about other cultures and also about yourself. And also, don't give up on your dreams. If you have dreams, go for it. Don't listen to naysayers, and just persevere and believe that you can do it. I will see you soon. Bye.